Cole woke before dawn, long before the city's heartbeat returned. The penthouse was quiet, too quiet for a man who used to find comfort in silence. He sat at the edge of the bed, elbows on his knees, running a hand through his hair as the pale morning light crawled across the floor. He hadn't slept. Not really. He couldn't. Not when the woman lying beside him carried shadows she didn't even know were hers. Amelia shifted slightly, her curls spilling over the pillow. Her lips parted in the soft, careless way of someone who trusted the person next to her. Someone who didn't expect monsters to come crawling out of the past. Cole leaned in and brushed a kiss against her forehead. Soft, careful, afraid of waking her, but more afraid of losing her if the truth found its way to her first. Because something was coming. He felt it, and he hated that he couldn't stop it yet. Amelia's phone buzzed on the nightstand. Her brow tightened. She reached blindly, grabbed the phone, and squinted at the screen. Then she frowned deeper, pushed herself up on one elbow, and read the message again. "What is it?" Cole asked gently. Her eyes lifted to his, confused, a little unsettled. "It's weird," she murmured. "Someone texted me asking if I'm okay. Someone named JB. I don't know JB." Cole's heartbeat stumbled. He masked it instantly. "Maybe a wrong number," he said. She shook her head. "No." They said, "Ilara. Are you safe?" "Who's Ilara?" The name hit him like a punch. Ilara. He swallowed it, keeping his voice steady. "Probably a scammer. Delete it." But Amelia kept staring at the message as if something inside her recognized it. Something buried far beneath the life she remembered. She finally locked the screen and dropped the phone. "I'll delete it later," she whispered. Cole forced himself to breathe. "You should get some rest." She nodded and lay back down, curling toward him. He wrapped an arm around her, but his body had gone rigid. The name. That damn name. He stayed awake long after her breathing softened again. Later that morning, Amelia sat on the bench outside the EMS station, tying her boots, adjusting her uniform, and trying to shake the unsettling feeling in her chest. She'd had strange dreams again. Flashes of running, of someone calling her name, but not her name. Not Amelia. The other one. She rubbed her temples. "It's nothing. I'm overthinking." She stood and reached for her radio just as a shadow stretched across the ground in front of her. A man stepped into view. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark jacket, hood slightly up. His face wasn't fully visible, but his eyes, sharp, familiar in a way she couldn't explain. He stared at her like he'd been looking for her for a long time. Her breath hitched. "Can I help you?" The man exhaled shakily, almost relieved. "Ilara." Her heart froze. "My name is Amelia," she said, slowly. He shook his head, eyes glossy. "No, you don't remember me." She stepped back. "Who are you?" He swallowed hard. "I'm the brother you think is dead." Amelia's breath caught somewhere between her ribs and her throat. She stared at the man, at the trembling in his jaw, at the way his eyes searched her face like they were trying to reach through time. "My brother is dead," she whispered. "He died in a building collapse 6 years ago. I was there. I saw—" "No," he said firmly, stepping closer. "You saw the aftermath. You didn't see me die." She shook her head, backing up another step. "This isn't funny. Who put you up to this?" A flicker of hurt crossed his expression. "Ilara. It's really me." "I'm not Ilara," she snapped, louder than she meant. A few paramedics turned their heads but didn't interfere. The man lowered his hood, revealing a clean-shaven jaw, a faint scar running through his eyebrow, the kind you get from surviving something you weren't supposed to survive. He waited, letting her look at him, letting her remember. Except she didn't, or couldn't. "I'm Jace," he said softly. Your brother. Amelia felt the world tilt. Her heart pounded painfully, her pulse loud in her ears. No, she whispered again, but this time it sounded like a plea. My brother didn't look like someone who crawled out of hell? He asked quietly. Someone who had to disappear to stay alive? She swallowed hard but didn't answer. He reached slowly into his pocket. I can prove it. That's when Cole's black SUV pulled sharply to the curb. The door flew open before the engine even stopped. Amelia! Cole's voice was tight, too tight, as he rushed toward her, placing himself between her and the stranger without hesitation. Jace's eyes hardened. Still protecting her, huh? Even after what you did. Cole stiffened, but kept his voice cold. Back away from her. Now. Amelia looked frantically between them. You know him? Cole didn't answer. Not fast enough. Jace gave a humorless laugh. Oh, he knows me. He's known me longer than you think. Isn't that right, Harrington? Cole's jaw clenched. You need to leave. Or what? Jace asked. You'll erase more memories. Amelia froze. Erase memories. She stepped back from both men, horror creeping up her spine. Someone tell me what's going on. Neither man moved. Neither blinked. Jace's voice softened again. There are things you don't remember. Things they made you forget. But you're in danger, Amelia. And you need to know the truth before. A loud metallic crash exploded from across the street. A car backfired. Amelia flinched. And when she looked back, Jace was gone. Disappeared into the crowd like a ghost. Cole exhaled shakily, running a hand over his face. Amelia, don't, she whispered. Don't lie to me. Did you know him? Cole didn't speak. That was her answer. Something inside her cracked. She stepped back from him too. Cole, what aren't you telling me? Who is he? Why did he call me that name? Cole finally met her eyes with something like fear. Real fear. There are things I've tried to keep buried, he said quietly. Things that could destroy you. Destroy us. I just need time to explain. She shook her head. I don't have time. Not anymore. Her radio beeped, summoning her to a call, but her voice was barely steady as she answered it. The ambulance door slammed shut behind her, leaving Cole standing alone on the sidewalk, fists clenched at his sides. Jace's words echoed in his mind. Still protecting her, huh? Even after what you did? Cole pressed his palms against his forehead. Everything he'd feared was starting again. The past wasn't just coming back. It was here. The call was routine. A minor traffic collision on Freeman Street, but Amelia's hands shook as she tied a tourniquet. Her breath came too fast, her thoughts too loud. Even her partner, Shauna, kept throwing her sideways glances. You good? Shauna asked quietly. Amelia forced a nod. Just tired. But she wasn't tired. She was unraveling. Jace's face kept flashing in her mind. Not the stranger. No. Something about the shape of his eyes. The way he said her name. It tugged at a place inside her she didn't know existed. A place that felt like a hole. When the patient was loaded into the hospital, Amelia stepped into the supply corridor to catch her breath. The corridor was quiet, dim. The hum of fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. She pressed a hand to her chest. Ilara. Who the hell was Ilara? Why did hearing the name feel like someone had touched a bruise on her soul? She took a slow breath. Get it together, she whispered. But when she pushed the door open to return to the ER, she nearly collided with Cole. He looked wrecked. Not physically, but in the way a man looks when the ground under him starts shifting. We need to talk, he said immediately. She stepped back. I'm working. Please? His voice cracked at the edges. Amelia, I didn't lie to hurt you. I lied to protect you. She stared at him for a long, aching second. "Protect me from what?" she asked quietly. "From Jace? Or from the truth?" Cole inhaled sharply, as if her words had cut deep. He looked away, rubbing the back of his neck. "It's not that simple." "No," she whispered. "I think it is." They watched each other, neither moving, both afraid to speak first. Then footsteps echoed behind Cole, and Margaret Harrington appeared in the hallway, tall and elegant in her tailored navy coat, her diamonds catching the light like tiny stars. She looked Amelia up and down, slow, cold, calculating. "Cole," she said sharply, "we need to talk." Amelia stiffened. "I'm going." Cole reached for her arm. "Amelia," Margaret didn't wait. "Cole, now." He looked torn in half. Amelia shook her head. "Just go. Clearly, whatever this is, I'm the last person who knows anything." She walked away before the tears gathering in her eyes could fall. Cole watched her leave as if she were something he'd spent years trying to hold on to, only to feel it slipping through his fingers again. Margaret didn't soften. "She's a distraction," she said flatly. "And if she keeps digging into the past, she'll become a liability." Cole's blood ran cold. He turned to her slowly. "What did you just say?" Margaret didn't blink. "You heard me." His voice dropped to a deadly calm. "If anyone touches her, if anyone threatens her," Margaret raised one elegant brow. "You'll do what? Stand against your own family? You've barely survived the last mess." This time, Cole didn't answer, because for the first time in his life, he already knew exactly what he was willing to do. Margaret leaned slightly closer. "That girl is a door you do not want reopened." Cole's jaw clenched. "I'm not leaving her," he said quietly. Margaret studied him with a mixture of anger and fear. "Then," she whispered, "you have no idea what's coming." Amelia finished her shift running on autopilot. Each patch she placed, each vitals check, each patient she reassured. It all felt distant, like she was moving through fog. When she finally changed out of her uniform and stepped out of the hospital, the late evening air hit her like a splash of cold water. She hugged her jacket around herself and started walking toward the bus stop, her mind still tangled in Jace's words. "Ilara." She whispered it under her breath. She waited to feel something, anything. A memory, a flash, a heartbeat. But nothing came. Until a car slowed beside her. Cole's SUV? He rolled down the window. "Please get in," she tightened her jaw. "Cole, I'm not..." "Amelia." His voice cracked slightly, a controlled desperation slipping through. "I'm not here to argue, I don't want you walking alone at night. Not today." Her heart softened despite everything. But she shook her head. "I'm taking the bus." He exhaled shakily and stepped out of the SUV. He didn't reach for her. He just stood there, hands open, palms visible, like he was afraid any move would push her further away. "I know you don't trust me right now," he said quietly, "and I deserve that. But let me be near you. You don't even have to speak to me. Just let me drive behind the bus until you reach home." Amelia's throat tightened. "Cole," she sighed. "I don't know what to do with all of this." He stepped closer, slowly, until he was standing right in front of her. "You don't have to do anything. Just get home safely. That's all I'm asking." She hesitated. Then a voice came from the darkness. "You shouldn't trust him." Amelia froze as a figure stepped out from behind a parked car. Jace. He pulled down his hood, eyes locked on Cole. Cole instinctively stepped in front of Amelia. Jace scoffed. "Still pretending you're her hero? You haven't changed." Amelia stepped between them. "Stop, both of you." But the tension between them was thick enough to choke on. Jace kept his gaze on Cole as he spoke. "She deserves to know the truth." Cole's jaw clenched. Not like this. Jace ignored him. He looked at Amelia again, this time gentler, almost pleading. They took 2 years from you, he said softly. 2 years of your life. They made you forget everything that happened before the fire. Amelia's breath left her body in a painful rush. What fire? She whispered. Cole closed his eyes, pained. Jace continued. The night I disappeared, you disappeared too. You survived because someone dragged you out of the building. But afterward, your memories were wiped clean. Amelia stared at him in horror. That's not true. I remember. No, Jace said. You remember what they wanted you to remember. The life they built for you after. Cole stepped closer. Amelia, please, let me explain. She backed away from both of them. Someone tell me, she whispered, voice shaking. Who erased my memories? Who decided what I should forget? Jace pointed at Cole. He did. Cole's eyes widened in pain. Amelia, that's not the whole story. Jace stepped forward, voice low and dangerous. He erased you, Ilara. He erased your name, your past, and your family. The world tilted. Amelia's knees weakened. She backed up until her back hit the cold metal of a streetlight. Cole reached out instinctively. Amelia! She flinched away from him. Her voice was barely a whisper. Is any of that true? Cole swallowed hard. Not the way he's saying it. That wasn't a denial. Not fully. Amelia pressed a hand over her trembling mouth. Jace's voice softened, almost breaking. You were my sister, and someone stole you from me. The night felt too quiet, too heavy. Amelia's heart felt like it was splitting open. Both of you stay away from me, she whispered. Then she turned and ran. Past Cole, past Jace, past the life she thought she understood. She didn't stop until the city blurred around her. And somewhere behind her, Cole stood perfectly still, staring at the spot where she'd been, his chest rising and falling like he'd been stabbed. Because the one thing he feared most was beginning all over again. Amelia didn't stop running until she reached the old footbridge near the river, a quiet place she used to sit after long shifts. Tonight, the place felt unfamiliar, like everything else in her life. She pressed both hands against the railing, breathing hard, trying to quiet the storm inside her. But nothing slowed. Not the questions, not the fear, not the ache blooming in her chest. Ilara, 2 years. He erased you. Your brother is alive. Cole knew. Her stomach twisted painfully. A sudden gust of cold wind rushed over the bridge, raising goosebumps along her arms. She wrapped her hands around herself, trying to steady her shaking breath. Amelia. She spun around, startled. Jace stood at the far end of the bridge, not approaching, just giving her space. How did you find me? She whispered. He gave a sad, almost broken smile. This used to be your spot. You came here every day after school. You said the river made your thoughts quieter. Her pulse fluttered. She didn't remember that. Not even a flash. You can't keep following me, she said quietly. I'm not here to force anything, Jace replied. But you deserve the truth. All of it. And I'm the only one left who can give it to you. She swallowed. Why now? Why come back after all these years? Jace's face darkened, the scar on his brow catching the moonlight. Because the people who took your past, they're moving again. And if they find out you're remembering anything, he shook his head. They'll try to finish what they started. Fear prickled down her spine. Who are they? She asked. Jace's eyes flickered with caution. Not yet. I need you to trust me first. She let out a trembling laugh. Trust you? I don't even know you. His voice cracked. I wish that wasn't true. She felt her throat tighten, but before she could speak, footsteps echoed behind her. Cole. He approached slowly, exhaustion etched in every line of his face. Amelia, I need to talk to you. She wiped at her eyes quickly. Not now. Please. Jace glared at him. You've done enough. Cole ignored him completely. His eyes were locked on Amelia. Raw. Pained. Desperate. You have to let me explain, he said. If you walk away now, you'll only hear half-truths and lies. Jace stepped forward. She doesn't need your version. She needs the real story. And you think you have it? Cole shot back. You think disappearing for years gave you clarity? Jace clenched his fists. At least I didn't erase her. Amelia's chest tightened at the word. Erase. Cole closed his eyes as if the accusation physically hurt him. I never erased you, he whispered. I tried to protect you. Jace scoffed. By wiping her life clean? You expect her to believe that? Amelia raised a shaking hand. Stop. I can't hear this right now. Cole took a slow step toward her. Just give me a chance. One chance to explain. She stared at him, searching his face for something. Truth, guilt, regret, maybe all of it. Then she whispered, Did you know me before the night I saved your life? The question hung in the air like a blade. Cole froze. His jaw tightened. He opened his mouth. But no words came out. Her heart broke. She shook her head, stepping back from them both. I'm done for tonight. Don't follow me. Cole reached out a trembling hand. Amelia. She stepped out of reach. Good night, Cole. Jace watched her leave with a look of devastation. Cole watched her leave like the world had been pulled out from under him. When she disappeared from sight, Cole finally spoke, voice barely audible. I loved her long before she ever knew my name. Jace's expression darkened. And that's exactly why she should be afraid of you. Cole didn't answer. He just stared into the darkness where Amelia had gone, knowing that for the second time in his life, he might lose her all over again. If you felt the tension tonight, Episode 2 will break everything wide. Open. Tap the next episode. The truth Amelia is looking for is closer than she thinks, and more dangerous than she knows.